Hey guys, Amanda here. Just have some more math videos here for you. I just started my fourth semester, so I am about to take one of my last math exams for nursing. How exciting, so long as I get my 90%. But I figured, while I'm practicing, why don't I do some videos at the same time? Kind of kill two birds with one stone, and this way I can refresh my memory and hopefully I can refresh yours, or maybe teach you something that you might have forgotten or just couldn't get the hang of, or whatever it might be. So the first thing that I decided to work on tonight was TPN. That seems to be the biggest fret that everybody has for every math exam, is like TPN, 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 like it's so complicated and this, but really it's not that complicated. It's actually really simple. It's just time consuming and tedious. So because of that, I have decided, I kind of set up my board already a little bit. Please excuse some of my scribbles and stuff. I don't know, it's not drying or clearing very nicely, so it looks kind of dirty, but whatever, it'll get the job done. But anyway, I pulled out one of my TPN worksheets that some of you may have already had to practice. I feel like this one pretty much covers everything I need to know in regards to TPN, and it gives me enough practice to kind of feel like, okay, I can do this. So we're going to go ahead and start off with question number 1. All right, these questions are a little lengthy, so please bear with me. I kind of have to crawl across the board and stuff. It's kind of embarrassing, but gets the job done. So I'm going to turn towards the board so I don't have to lean all the way across, hopefully. But anyway, so the first equation on this worksheet says the patient is receiving 500 milliliters of D40W with 500 milliliters of 8.5% free amine, infusing at 70 milliliters an hour. The patient is also receiving 500 milliliters of 20% lipids daily. Approximately how many calories are they going to receive per day? So some things that I like to think about before I just jump in and start plugging things in is, what do I need to know? I need to know how many calories of carbs, protein, and lipids there are per gram. Okay, so if you think all the way back to your basic fundamentals of nursing, protein and carbs, there are 4 calories per gram. Lipids, however, there are 9 calories per gram, okay? So just think of it like that. Now, lipids are always going to be separate, where you can put your protein and carbs in the same bag, in your same 500 milliliter bag. So that's why we always want to make sure that we are dividing our protein and carbs in half, because they're 50% of the bag is going to be your lipids, and 50% is going to be, not your lipids, sorry. 50% is going to be your carbs, and 50% is going to be your protein, okay? However, that's if it's calories per day. If it says total concentration, we're not dividing anything, all right? So just keep that in mind. So if it says calories per day, you're going to put in a little more work. If it says total concentration, less work for you. You just have to remember the difference, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I like to start off, as you can see, I always start off in this order for some reason. I do carbs, protein, and lipids, carbs, protein, and lipids. So that's just how I do it. So I already have that set here. So let's go ahead and start with carbs. I know that I have 4 calories per gram, correct? All right, perfect. Now I have what I need on top, which is what I'm going to come out with in the end. And I know that I'm going to want days on the bottom, somehow, some way. So first things first, I got to get rid of my grams. All right, well, how many grams do I have of these carbs in this equation? 40, okay? So let's go ahead and plug in that 40 grams. And then this 100 milliliters is just always going to be there. So just always think of that naturally. Don't try to think oh, what is it over? What is it over? What is it over? Just put 100. Just put 100, just put 100, just put 100. Less work for you. Less stress for you, okay? Perfect. But now I need to get rid of these milliliters. So let's look and see. Well, where else does it say milliliters in this equation? Oh, bam. It's running at 70 milliliters an hour. Who would have thunk? All right. So let's plug in my 70 per hour. Sweet. So I have some type of time here on the bottom, which is what I want, but I don't necessarily want hours. I want per day. But we can easily fix that, right? Because we have 24 hours in a day. Say what? All right, so let's go ahead and do this math real quick. Let's go ahead and cancel that out, cancel that out, cancel that out, cancel that out, cancel that out. Okay, let's see what we get here. I have 4 times 40 times 70 times 24 equals 268,800 over, let's not forget about our 100 milliliters here, okay? Over 100. Now remember I said we're going to have to divide in half, so guess what? Times 1/2 equals, so basically we have 268,800 over 200. That's what that would come out as essentially. So let's go ahead and divide that 268,800 by 200 then. That gives me 1,344. Okay? So carbs are taken care of. Now let's work on proteins. Same concept here, okay? I already know I'm going to start with 4 calories per gram. And I have 8.5% free amine, okay? So don't worry about percentages and converting and whatever. All you need to do is just take that piece up there and plug it in here. Remember, we always want to just put our 100 milliliters on the bottom. So voila, wham bam, thank you ma'am. And look, it's infusing at the same rate as the carbs because they're both in the same bag. So at 70 milliliters per hour. And we already know this part, we have 24 hours in a day. All right, so what does that equal? Excuse me. Oops. Let's plug it in correctly, Amanda. Okay, so 57, 120 over 100. Remember, we want to multiply this by half. So really, we're going to be dividing that by 200, which equals 285.6. Okay, hopefully you're keeping up so far. So last but not least here, I got my lipids. So remember, this one's different. We have 9 calories per gram. Okay, now this one's kind of going all by itself. So again, just like we did with the proteins, we have our 20% lipids here. So that's just 20 grams over 100 milliliters. All right. Now, I have 500 milliliters per day. Now, do you understand why I did that? Unlike the carbs and protein, which are both in the same bag, infusing at the same rate, therefore we have to divide in half because they're only taking up half of the concentration of what's in the bag. Lipids are run by themselves. So you have this 20 grams per 100 milliliter in this whole 500 milliliter bag. And they are getting this daily. So they're getting 500 milliliters of 20% lipids daily. Okay? And that's all you need for that part of your equation. So a little less math for lipids. Okay? So don't get yourself worked up. So what does this give us? We have 9 times 20 times 500 divided by 100 equals 900. Okay, now we get to add everything up because this is what they're going to be getting in the whole day. All right, so we can put total here. So we have 900 plus 285.6 plus 1344 equals 2,529.6 calories per day. Now I can't give a fraction here because this is going in through an infusion pump, or I guess if you don't have one, by gravity somehow, some way, then you have to figure out the drops. But you can't give a fraction of a drop. You can only give whole drops. So we're going to use our rounding rules. If it's above 5 and there isn't another number here for it to make a difference, then we're going to round it up. So our total would actually be 2,530 calories per day. All right? Really not that hard, just time consuming. So, yeah, we can move on to the next problem.